And we are live. All right. So welcome, my friends and gems. So we're going to talk about our cell activation patches here. And I'm just going to put here in our chat really quick. Excuse me as I put my glasses on here so I can see really well so I don't have a lot of typos. Our info, Q&A. And we're also going to be talking about what no one tells you about cars, planes, and trains, and how that affects the human body. So we're going to start off a little bit with that, and then we're going to go into our information about the actual patches themselves and how it can offset some of this damage that you're getting from cars, trains, and planes. So the little thing that oftentimes is overlooked is that, oftentimes we don't know what we don't know until we know it. And we are in a modern day age and society where we have a lot of modern day equipment and things that really make our life easier, but that always comes at a price, right? We are subject to electromagnetic frequencies that in the past we were not subject to because we simply didn't have the same volume of electronics and exposure that we do now, that as in comparison into the past. So for example, if you look at a car, every single train, and every single plane, inside the lighting fixtures are all LED lights. All the gadgets, all the measuring devices, pretty much anything that's lit, anything that measures anything is lit with LED lights. So the problem with LED lights is that not only do you have electromagnetic frequencies that actually come from that, but the other thing is that you actually get blue light toxicity from LED lights. So we actually now have evidence. We have Dr. Jack Kruse, my mentor, who is a neurologist who actually specializes in not just brain surgery, but also in neck and spine surgery. And he's an expert on photobiomodulation. And he talks about the detriments of electromagnetic frequencies and about blue light toxicity, like in the OR. He's totally radically changed how he does. And when he does surgery on the brain, because he realized that up until he was 40 years old, just by cracking a brain open and doing brain surgery under fluorescent lights with all these other LED and halogen lights in the OR, that was causing damage to that now exposed open brain. And he said for the first, 2 decades that he did medicine, he was completely unaware that that was even something detrimental to his patients. And so one of the things that he has done in the last 20 years, because he is now 20 years wiser, he then became aware and was an avid student of photobiomodulation and how light affects the body, both not just artificial light, but also nascent light from the sun. And so he no longer does surgery before 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. Why? Because it's important for him to get out in the morning light sun. And instead of doing surgery starting at 7 in the morning and going in when it's dark, he doesn't. He actually goes out, and after sunrise, he's always seeing the sunrise, and he's actually exposing his own body to the sunlight, the natural sunlight. Our bodies are infrared light. The sun is 42 to 43% infrared light. And just by allowing the simple action of having regular sunlight touch your skin, because you have the equivalent of little eyeballs all over your skin. They're called photoreceptors. And those photoreceptors, along with your eyes, he talks about how your eyes are a circadian rhythm clock. That isn't just a camera. It's not just a video camera for you to see and to absorb everything that's in your surrounding environment, but your eye is also tied to your suprachiasmatic nucleus. It is a circadian rhythm clock that as you receive sunlight from the natural sun in the morning, you've got the photoreceptors that are making contact with your skin that automatically increases your pulse ox rate, your pulse oxygen rate, but it also is setting the circadian rhythms of your melatonin, your serotonin, because your eye clock is receiving that sunlight, getting UVA light, UVB light. You're getting natural vitamin A hormone from UVA, vitamin D from UVB light. And now your melatonin is also activated from your exposure to the sun. It's setting the circadian rhythm of melatonin and serotonin. Melatonin puts you to sleep. Serotonin wakes you up in the morning. But also every single organ system of the body has a cycle. And so all of those now go into cadence and into harmony so that they go into balance as you receive this benefit from the sun. So he doesn't start anything before 10 o'clock in the morning in terms of operations. He doesn't do anything before 10 o'clock in the morning. And then there's all sorts of other practices. He changed the lighting fixtures in his operating room and has taken other measures to offset the LED lights. There's some of it that's inevitable, but there's some that he can control. And so he does. So he does things to offset that blue light toxicity that you would otherwise have under those lights. So blue light toxicity, how does that present itself to you and to me? Blue light toxicity increases inflammation inside of the body. It also increases insulin resistance into the body. I want you to think about how many people are running around with different types of conditions that are tied to your pancreas, that are tied to your sugar levels, your glucose levels, that are tied to your insulin levels. And they're unaware that the environment in which they live or the environment of their car. Think about it. Someone who's a truck driver who has issues that has to measure their insulin and their glucose every day because they have a particular condition, a particular disease, a particular diagnosis. And they're in a truck all day long because they're a truck driver, or maybe they're an Uber driver. All the components inside of a truck, all the components inside of a car, all LED lights. So that's causing insulin resistance, as well as inflammation inside of the body. It's also destroying DHEA, the fountain of youth hormone, that time. I'm a person that I love to drive. Some people hate driving. I love driving. I don't mind. When I go to Vegas, I don't fly. I prefer to drive. It's 4 hours of driving. I love to drive, but a lot of people don't like to drive. I would imagine that most truck drivers, people who do Uber and stuff like that, they probably love to drive too. But many of them are unaware of the blue light toxicity that you're getting just from the LEDs, from all the electrical components in your car. You have the electromagnetic frequencies, and on top of that, the blue light toxicity. The thing is to become aware so you can offset these things, right? In a plane, the same thing. It's actually exponentially worse as compared to a car, a truck, or even a train. Because in a plane, you have the added factor that you are elevated at 30,000 feet on up, right? So you have a pressurized capsule, basically a bullet flying through the air. So you have this pressurized capsule. It's closer to the radiation to the sun. So you got some radiation going on. You've got a lot of electromagnetic frequencies that are going through your body. You're kind of being baked. It's kind of like being in a microwave oven. And the blue light toxicity that's inherent from all the LED lights that are in there. Plus, you don't have any fresh air. So you have no negative ions flying around through that air. On the contrary, right? So you have a lot of dehydration that's taking place while you're in that pressurized capsule. You have elevated pressure because it's a pressurized capsule. You have to maintain a certain amount of pressure inside that cabin, right? And so if you have any kind of medical condition, if you have any kind of compromise in any type of the systems or organ body, those are things to be aware of and to know that there are things that you can do to offset some of those things so that you can that travel more pleasant and that you don't have an episode that might happen to you just out of because you don't know any better. You don't know to offset those things. Very few people even talk about what are some of the things that you need to do in order to offset some of the negative effects from traveling. One of them being dehydration. In that pressurized capsule where you're being bombarded with all the electromagnetic frequencies, you have all that blue light toxicity, you're having a significant amount of dehydration that's taking place. Anyone who's flown, you know that you feel parched and dry. You have air-conditioned air, which is not natural and fresh, not full of negative ions. And so you get really dehydrated. If on top of that, you're drinking caffeinated beverages, coffees, sodas, alcohol, think about it. You're in an environment, blue light toxicity with insulin resistance, and now you're drinking alcohol. which spikes your glucose because alcohol chemically turns into, chemistry-wise, ROH, it turns into pure sugar inside of your body. Same thing with whatever those, carbonated beverages, colas, any type of cola, Sprite, 7-Up, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, all of that's Crush, all those things. That's basically liquid sugar, right? So now you have added glucose spike. You've got insulin resistance, and you're adding, adding that on top. And so you can see how this is kind of like creating this perfect storm, which is no wonder why people are so jet lagged, why people don't feel so good after they're done traveling on a plane. You've been flying for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hours, depending where in the world it is that you're traveling. So one of the things to do is to keep properly hydrated as you get on your plane, and to get up once an hour to keep that circulation going. Whether you have to go to the bathroom or not doesn't matter. Walk to the front of the plane, walk to the back of the plane, get back in your seat, and then drink water. You'll notice that there's not that much water to pee out because you're going to be very dehydrated just from the environment in which you're in. But that's going to help offset some of those effects while you are in travel, if that makes sense. Okay, so let me go on to, we're going to go to our information question and answer. Carol, thank you for joining us here tonight. We're going to go ahead and open up our presentation. We are broadcasting live here on YouTube. Let me check real quick on YouTube if anybody has any kind of comments in the chat. Okay, looks all good here. I don't see any comments in the chat. I don't see the chat on here for some reason, but it's all good. All right, my friends and gems. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen with you. Talking about dehydration, let me share one of the first screens I'm going to share with you guys. Is an image of, this is what your DNA looks like when it's hydrated. Let's bring this all the way down here to the bottom so it's out of the way so that you can see the entire graphic. This is DNA that is hydrated. And over here, you have DNA that's 8% dehydrated. You can see how it's starting to fall apart and it's starting to unravel because it's dehydrated. That is how important it is to keep yourself hydrated, to drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water every single day. When you're 2% dehydrated, you will feel thirst in your mouth. 8% dehydration, your DNA starts to unravel like you saw in that picture. DNA is 92% water. That's how important. Water is the primary structure that even holds up that DNA. And when you are dehydrated, it starts to unravel, starts to literally fall apart. If that starts to unravel, do you think that you might have an issue or two with symptoms, with different organs failing to respond they would at optimal performance? Yeah, the answer would be yes. That's the beginning of disease, the beginning of different types of conditions in the body. And so the other thing that happens is when you're dehydrated is that your proteins, they fold. So when proteins fold, there's something inside your body called the Krebs cycle, that the Krebs cycle is interrupted because your proteins are folded. Anytime a protein folds, it's not able to function properly. Proteins are one of the building blocks to your body. And so there are different proteins that are activated through different, we are this incredible, you can kind of visualize in your mind's eye as if you were to think of the inside of your body, it has like thousands of little test tubes with different levels of liquid in each test tube. With every breath that you take, with every word that you speak, with everything that you eat, that you drink, that you inhale, that you exhale, whatever exposure you have, what type of clothes, whether you have synthetic clothes on or more of a natural fiber like cotton or wool on, that all affects your chemistry too. The temperature. So all those little test tubes inside your body, if they were to be like all the different colors of the rainbow, you would see them like second to millisecond, it's constantly adjusting. When you don't talk, your chemistry is different. When you're speaking, it's changing with every word that you speak. Every word that you speak has a certain vibration. With every mood, your emotions are a different chemistry. Like anger has much more cortisol in it than does joy or happiness. Joy or happiness doesn't have cortisol in it typically. And so your chemistry is going to determine, your emotions will determine a different chemical reaction inside of the body too. There's a research study. This research study is probably now about maybe 35 years old, that I read and saw a long time ago. And that particular research study took lab rats that were healthy, and they took the blood of happy, joyous, like people that were laughing at constant jokes, and they injected these rats with that in their blood. And then they took these other rats and they took the blood of humans who had fits of rage, of anger. They were just livid, furious, not just a little angry. They were just like fit to be tied. They withdrew their blood and they injected it into these lab rats. What do you think happened to the rats that were injected with the blood of the people who were livid, who were furious? Well, let me put you out of your misery so you don't have to guess. The rats that were injected with the blood of those individuals who had had fits of rage and of anger and fury, within 6 minutes, those rats died. That's how caustic that blood was. That's how poisonous that blood was. It had chemistry in it that was so powerful that those rats could not survive that. So if that's true for that mammal, what might be true for you every time you have a fit of rage? Now, for one of the things that's true about your emotions too is that, you know, as your hormones, as you have your chemistry more in balance, then it's easier for you to have more self-mastery. If, for example, if you're a male with low levels of testosterone and high levels of estrogen, you're going to blow your top off a lot quicker than someone who has the appropriate amount of testosterone. The man is supposed to have anywhere from 30 to 50 times more testosterone than estrogen compared to a woman. Okay. And so, but if his testosterone levels are low and his estrogen levels are high, then he is going to have a harder time having self-mastery and having control of his emotions. And so he is not only going to have a greater propensity to blow his top, but he's also going to be more predisposed to different type of heart diseases and cardiac conditions because his chemistry is off. Same thing is true for a woman. If a woman's estrogen level is low and the testosterone is high, that predisposes her to certain conditions as well. And when your chemistry is out of whack, it's harder to have self-mastery, to have self-control. Any kind of damage to the frontal lobe of the brain, of course, is going to affect your chemistry, but the front of the brain is that's where your executive functioning takes place. And that's also your ability to master and regulate your own emotions and your impulses. A lot of people with frontal lobe damage have poor impulse control. It's one of the signs in a traumatic brain injury. We're not here to treat, cure, heal, or diagnose or anything, but this is purely an educational platform and my efforts to bring to you zero-cost education and information about these phototherapy patches, also known as photobiomodulation patches, and cell activation patches. They activate your pluripotent cells. And so this is just an effort to share with you things that you may have not thought of before. And you can actually take decisive action the moment this broadcast finishes, and you can start to do things in your environment that will give you a better outcome to what you're experiencing at this moment in time. So for example, one of the things that you can in fact do is you can get incandescent bulbs that you can order through Amazon. I don't have an affiliate link to Amazon or anything. I'm not making any money off of that, but that's where I buy my incandescent bulbs, is through Amazon, because I can't get them at the stores here. They're not allowed to sell incandescent bulbs here in California where I live. So what do? I go to Amazon. I order the bulbs that I need. As you sit here, you might notice a little bit of a red hue over my skin. That's because I have 4 bulbs that have red, infrared, incandescent bulbs. The other 2 are clear. During the day, I have all of them on. And at night, after sunset, I turn off the clear bulbs so that you only have the red, because I understand the importance. Of course, you see these lights back up here. Those are clear, of course. Those are not LED lights. They're not fluorescent, and they're not halogen bulbs, luckily. They're floodlights. They're small floodlights, but they're in the incandescent type category. And they're clear, and they're behind me, of course. But the bottom line is this: you can do things to improve your light environment and to offset the amount of blue light toxicity that you're getting from LED lights, from your lighting fixtures, from the gizmos and gazmos. That's a technical term that you have in your kitchen, your bathroom, your bedroom, like your refrigerator, your microwave oven, your stove, your cappuccino maker, coffee maker, hot pot, electric hot pot that maybe heats up your hot water. Any device, your Ninja. I have a Ninja that I like to blend things in for my green matcha lattes. All of those devices have LED lights on them. And my body is exposed to that on a daily basis. Lucky for me that I've been on the Fantastic Five for a year and a half now. So I offset any of that damage, not just through the measures that we just talked about, changing some of my bulbs, but I get EMF protection from the daughter activation patch. And I get to unring the bell of any of that damage through wearing the Fantastic Five, and so can you. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let me share with you the information question and answer session. I shared with you already the incredible DNA, which, like I said, it's 92% drinking water, 50% your fluid weight in water is very important from the time you get up until you go to sleep. So let me share with you, we are going to be talking here about these activation patches, about the Fantastic Five. They take care of the primary systems of the body. We're going to be talking about these pluripotent cell activation patches, clearly activating cells that you've had there since conception that have gone dormant. And we're going to turn those back on. We're literally, for those of you who want to get turned on, listen up. If you're wearing socks, keep wearing them because we're going to knock them right off. And let's talk about our little disclaimer because we want to make sure that we maintain that beautiful relationship. Okay, all pristine with the FDA. So these patches are not intended to treat, prevent, or cure any disease. We do not heal, cure, treat, or diagnose, nor do we offer any protocols. The suggestions do not replace the diagnosis and treatment by a qualified licensed healthcare professional. We strongly recommend you consult with your doctor concerning your specific health challenge and treatment needed. No medical claims are being made with the suggestions herein. So we don't have any patch that treats a particular medical condition. So if you have a disease, a diagnosis of something, we don't have a patch for any particular condition. Our patches are systemic in nature. So what does a systemic patch, it's systemic in nature just means that it deals with systems of the body. So your cardiovascular system, your respiratory system, your hormonal system, your digestive system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the patches are systemic in nature, and all of the patches work in concert to bring your entire body into balance. So your body, if you're having pain, if you're having a manifestation of some sort of unwanted system in your body, if you're constipated, if you've had diarrhea for 2-3 years, there are people who've had issues with their gallbladder, for example, where they've had incessant diarrhea for 2-3 years. Some people had their gallbladder removed, et cetera, et cetera. These patches are going to take you from being out of balance, and it's going to quickly being a relative term, but it'll bring you into balance over time where you get better and better and better and better. So I need to disclose to you, there's a ton of things where just in the very short recent past, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has taken a different position. And so I want to share with you what that is, because there are things that we could say before. Like I used to be able to call these stem cell activation patches. We can no longer say that because the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, you can read here with your own eyes, the FDA has taken the position that all claims surrounding stem cells and healing, even those from natural products like this, will be regarded as a drug claim. The FDA also asserts that claiming that the use of light to elevate peptides such as GHKCU is inappropriate for a general wellness product. So even though that has been, we have known from day one that these patches, because we have 90 clinical studies that have been done in the United States, Europe, as well as Asia. And in those studies, we show that we actively, in all of the subjects, we actually turn on through the use of photobiomodulation, which is wearable light technology. We're able to activate GHKCU copper peptide. They're now saying that it's inappropriate for a general wellness product. Mind you, this is not something that you need a prescription for. This is something that's over the counter. It's available in 81 countries, pretty soon to be 82 as of the beginning of 2024. This recording is being done December of 2023. So as a result, we can't say that any longer, although we have the clinical studies, like I said, to show that, and we have them available where if you'd like to read those. And I have quotes from those clinical studies here. So I will let you know what we can and cannot say so that you are fully informed. Now, David Schmidt was aware of this information that in 1973, Dr. Lauren Picard discovered. He had this incredible discovery that GHKCU copper peptide activates a third of your previously dormant stem cells, turning genes to a younger, healthier state. Turning genes, by activating those stem cells, it turns the genes to a younger, healthier state. It actually grows the telomere length in your DNA. So that makes you wonder and beg to ask the question, what are stem cells? What are these things? Well, I'm glad that you thought of that question because these are pluripotent cells. What is pluripotent? Most people have never heard of the word pluripotent, and all pluripotent means is pluri means plural, potent, potential. It means simply that each one of those cells have many potentials. It has 100% of the intelligence, 100% of the programming that was required to form you in your mother's womb and take you all the way until you take your last breath. So each one of those stem cells have the ability to create any kind of cell that you need, whether it's a cardiac cell, a stomach cell, enterocyte cell, fat cell, blood cell, stomach cell, skin cell, nerve cell, doesn't matter. All of your information. It's very intelligent. It has all of the intelligence to form it has everything you need from conception to the grave. And at conception, we know that your mother's ovum united with your father's sperm, right? And at conception, now you have complete information. Prior to that, the ovum couldn't create a baby. The sperm couldn't create a baby. But when you bring those two together at conception, now you have complete information to the tune of 23,688 genes and stem cells that can now deform you. It can now begin to form you in your mother's womb and turn you into a baby. And that baby, that embryo that starts off 6 to 8 weeks later, you can evidence the heartbeat, right? Before the brain's even formed, 36 weeks to 40 weeks, it's turned into a fetus. And then you turn into a newborn baby. Fast forward to 30 years of age. And when you're 30 years of age, 50% of your stem cells turn off. And if you fast forward to 60 years of age, 90% turn off. You only have 10% left that's going to carry you for the balance of your life until you put one of these cell activation patches on. And now the thing to keep in mind is that your body, it's like a house. It's like a temporary housing unit to house the energy, the personality, the being that is you. And when you look at inside your body, your stem cells are like printer ink cartridges. I like to equate them to printer ink cartridges because you look at your stem cells, and everybody has used a printer at this point to make copies, you'll see that you have ink cartridges, and those ink cartridges, when you have 100% of the ink, you make copies and you can't tell the difference. It's indistinguishable, the copy from the original. Color, black and white, doesn't matter. When you've used up 70, 80%, 90% of the ink, now the copy is a faded version of the original. Same thing is true when you only have 20 or 10% left of your original stem cells. Those are all the smart cells that are creating and replacing any kind of damaged cells that you have in the body. Now you only have 20% or 10% left. That used to be the job of 100%. Guess what? Those copies are faded versions of the original until you apply a cell activation patch. Now, how do these patches work? Well, these patches work through infrared light. You and me, all mammals, cats, dogs, horses, cows, we're all mammals. We are live beings, and we are all formed at conception. We have that phenomena of complete information to the tune of 23,688 genes and stem cells. that forms you now in the mother's womb. Inside our bodies, we have infrared light. When we take our temperature, you can see it 98.6. Some of us are a little cooler. Some of us run a little hotter. But basically, 98.6 or 7 degrees Fahrenheit, right? That's evidenced by the infrared light inside your body. It's evidence of the electrons and the electrolytes. Electrolytes are coming from, food. Food is a light barcode for that electron and electrolyte transfer to go from your environment into your mouth to be absorbed into your body. And now it's flowing through your bloodstream. The electrolytes and the electrons are in your molecules, in your cells, in the body. And when we use night vision goggles, we could see you glowing in the dark because that infrared light is not just contained inside your skin walls, but it actually glows out of you. So we could see you through night vision goggles, and that's what the military as well as the law enforcement officers use to see people in the dark at night, right? This is an electron spectrograph, a scan. I actually have something called a BioWell machine that I use to scan people's hand, and I can measure the energy, the joules of energy of not just in your hand, but every organ and the organ systems inside of the body. If the joules of energy are too high, that's not good. If the joules of energy are too low, that's not good. There's a sweet spot where every organ and organ system has a sweet spot of where your energy should be. This energy that you have inside your body, this infrared light, is what activates GHKCU copper peptide, activating a specific protein. And so the thing to note is that as you are applying this patch, your body is the battery. It's the energy supply that activates this mechanical device, because this is not putting anything into your body. This is just a mechanical device to redirect your infrared light back into your body so that your own body can do this restoration and regeneration. This is the finest form of regenerative medicine known to mankind, bar none. So if you were to look at a diamond, and if you were just to make believe that I'm shining a flashlight onto this diamond crystal, you'll notice that the light reflects back to your eyes, the prism, all the different colors of the rainbow, right? That's how this technology works. So the moment this crystal lattice makes contact with your skin, this mechanical device is reflecting back your infrared light up to 4 inches deep into your body. And now this begins this reaction of regeneration, restoration, and reparation in your body, where it's going to activate depending on which patch you're wearing. We're going to be talking again about the Fantastic Five. We've got the mother, the daughter, cell activation patch, and then the 3 patches that complete the Fantastic Five, right? And so let's move on to our next slide. While phototherapy has been defined as the use of ultraviolet light for its healing effects, the light wave patches have been specifically developed to reflect light in the infrared and the visible light bands back onto the skin where the patch has been placed. So supported by normal electrodermal skin conductance, the human body gives off a number of materials biochemically, including particulate release, gas emission, ultraviolet, infrared, near-infrared, and visible spectrum of light. I don't know if you guys can hear Alexa talking. I hope not. Anyhow, let me turn that off because I think you guys, I have a unidirectional mic, but I'm not sure if you can hear that or not. Carol, would you let me know if you can hear Alexa speaking? Can you hear Alexa speaking in the background? You could? Yeah, let me go unplug her.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, probably, yeah.
Okay, so I unplugged Alexa because she started talking out of the blue. I don't know why, because there's no one in there. But anyhow, okay, so back to where we left off. We were talking about supported by normal electrodermal skin conductance. The human body gives off a number of materials biochemically, including particulate release. So that means that at a biochemical level, you have tiny little particles that are being released. You have gas emissions, ultraviolet, infrared, near infrared, and visible spectrum light. This then stimulates that area of the skin, which in this case, you're going to see here on my wrist, I have energy enhancer on. I've got a tan patch. You can see that, right? And I've got a white patch over here. And then below that, I have an X39. This then stimulates that area of the skin, right? Producing improved physiological effects. And variations on phototherapy have been used for at least 100 years. And in that time, there's been very little evidence of negative side effects. So this suggests that this is a relatively untapped option for healing with relatively few risks. This I took out of a study that was done on X39, the mother activation patch. Okay, so I want you to notice that these are non-transdermal patches. Nothing transfers into the dermis, into the skin. They're non-invasive. Nothing penetrates the skin. Nothing is absorbed into the skin. The crystals that are here are simply mechanical devices to reflect back the infrared light. That's why this is a medical device. So this is organic, holistic, FDA compliant class 1 medical device under general wellness category. We manufacture our products at FDA registered facilities in the US, and our facility in Ireland is registered with the Irish Medicine Board, which is the highest level of authority that you can find in the European Union. We manufacture our products to the same standards as a medical device. And in fact, our facility in Ireland is ISO 9001 and ISO 13485. It's a quality standard. Make no mistakes, that's a quality standard. And that's per our scientist, David Schmidt, who again was originally contracted by the Department of Defense, originally to create something that would enhance the energy of the Navy SEALs, and then did so. That was the birth of this first patch 23 years ago. And then 19 years ago, he started this company because he was free to now create an entire line of patches that will take care of everything in the body. So we have 11 patches now as a result. This is our 19th year. We've only had the mother activation patch for 4 years and the daughter for 2. So 39 has only been around for 4 years and 49 for 2 years. Thank goodness we have those available now. Really important to drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water. I did talk about it, how important it is to drink water at the beginning of the broadcast, and how your DNA is 92% water, and when you're 8% dehydrated, it unravels. We don't want that to happen. Plus, you don't want your proteins to fold, because when you're dehydrated, like I said before, your proteins fold. With proteins that are folded, your body does not function as well, and you begin to have symptoms and problems with the body. And so we want to make sure that we keep the body well hydrated, even if you choose not to do the activation of the cells, of your pluripotent cells from conception. Plan on, let's say you decide not to do this. I can't imagine why anyone wouldn't, but if you choose not to, the number one thing is, your big takeaway here is drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water. This is essential for health and well-being until you go to the grave, because it's foundational to your DNA. Your DNA is 92% water, like I said before. And did you know that your DNA is an energy amplifier? Hello, it's 92% water. That's the primary structure that holds up your DNA, let alone your body is primarily water. About 82% for babies and about 55% for people 60 and up. Very important to drink water. Okay. How long do you wear these patches? So these patches are to be worn. They're day patches primarily. Some of them can be worn at night, but primarily you're going to wear them during the day. 12 hours on from the beginning of the day, let's say 9 a.m. in the morning till 9 p.m. at night. You're going to have an alarm that will remind you, apply patches, 9 a.m. And then 12 hours later, you'll have an alarm that says remove patches. Now you remove your patches, and now you're going to match the 12 hours that you signaled. You have the floodlights on with 33% more pluripotent cells working to repair, regenerate, and replace any damaged cells that you have. And you're going to match that with 12 hours of rest, repair, and restore, right? And the next morning, then your alarm goes off, apply patches, 12 hours, you're going to wear that. And 12 hours later, your alarm goes off, remove patches. And now you allow for the rest, repair, and restore. You can see here on the right-hand side, I have attached the patches together so that they're kissing patches, much like here that I'm holding up here. Maybe if I hold it up this way, it's probably better lit. Whoops, just dropped them. But you'll see I separated the Fantastic Five here so that you can see I have 39, 49 glutathione, carnosine, and eon here. And you see that the white circles are simply just adjacent to each other. They're not overlapping each other because you want to maintain the integrity of that crystal lattice touching entirely your skin so it does the signaling on the body. Each one of those patches, that crystal lattice, it's different. They all look white. They're all white crystals. There's no dyes or anything. They're organic, right? But each one has a different geometrical arrangement, and each one has a different frequency to give you a different effect. That's why the mother 39 has a different effect than 49, than glutathione, carnosine, eon, or energy enhancer, or silent nights to put you to sleep, or ice wave to turn off your pain receptors, and so forth. This is Dr. John Harmon, who had a right bundle branch blockage. And you'll see that not only did he get the benefit of rejuvenation and reverse aging, but after 14 months of wearing this patch, he had 3 cardiologists that verified that that right bundle branch blockage somehow disappeared. Never had seen anything like that in their entire careers before. And all 3 of them were quite impressed with how this inoperable right bundle branch blockage that they had told him was inoperable, that he'd have to be on these heart meds for the rest of his life, and would have to be monitored for that, and that his lifespan would be compromised because of it. Now, all of a sudden, this condition, this right bundle branch blockage disappeared, and now he is doing much, much better. Oh, by the way, did you know that your fibroblasts begin to decline when you're just 25 years of age in the production of collagen? Collagen is the #1 building block protein of the body, and our patch will help elevate the production of collagen in your body to restore your body to a younger, healthier state. Okay. Next one is Barry, who had long haulers, and Barry had suffered for 18 months with terrible headaches, nausea, horrible insomnia, very low stamina, and extreme fatigue. And he was really quite wiped out when we started him on the patches. That was June 23rd of 2022. He is in Toronto, Canada, so he received his patches around 3, 4 in the afternoon, at which time he called me. Rather than waiting for the morning to start him, because he hadn't slept in 18 months and was having these terrible symptoms, I said, let's go ahead and get you started on the patches now, and then tomorrow you're going to remove them 12 hours later, and then just contact me, let me know, how did you sleep, what are you feeling, give me a status report. Very next day around 3:30 in the afternoon, I got this text message. You can see June 24th, 3:41 p.m. Hey, Lillian, just a note, don't know if it's a placebo or if the stem cell activation patches work that quick or what. But I had really good sleep, a little better sleep than other nights. Fell asleep quicker. Today, I'm just on a high. I'm ecstatic, and Gwen sees that in me. And I feel really, really good physically. When I awoke this morning, no headaches, no nausea. Yeah, it's just been a phenomenal day. What a contrast from before, huh? So thank you, and I'll update you as we go along. Hope all is well. Thanks. Bye. Total game changer. His life is radically better because of this. So excited for him. We've got Kathy McCarthy, who suffered for 33 years with autoimmune disorder from 3 breast implants that she had. Miserable experience. That was her primary motivator. But she got the both ends, just like Dr. John, like so many of us, because your pluripotent cells, when they're going to replace damaged cells, it doesn't care if it's inside or outside of your body. It does prioritize your heart, your liver, your brain, because you can't live without those, right? But it knows to replace any damaged cells in the order of priority, your heart being #1, heart, liver, brain are priority, right? And then everything else, then it's secondary and tertiary. And she got the both and, just like Dr. John. Not only did she get freed from all the things that plagued her and all the pain, all the symptoms that she had from the autoimmune disorder, but she also had this regenerative effect of reverse aging, because she had all these wrinkles to begin with. 7 months later, no wrinkles, no fine lines. And what she started when she was 62 years old, and now she's 63. She doesn't look 63, but she is 63. And she doesn't have crepey skin on her arms or anywhere in her body. She's had this incredible remodeling job, if you will, that have been done by her pluripotent cells that got activated, because every day she has for 12 hours, that remodeling job is going on inside and outside of her body because she's wearing these activation patches. Very exciting for her. If you want to watch the entire hour interview where she tells her entire story, it's a pretty great story. You can find that at my YouTube channel. You're here on my YouTube channel now, Love and Money Secrets TV, which you can also go to damelillianwalker.com and find that video. You'll see this graphic there because after we did her interview, she did give me her profile picture, which is why I can share this with you on this particular broadcast. Very exciting. So my story is, this is my story. I was hit by a bus just 3 blocks shy of finishing a 16-mile bike ride, suffered a traumatic brain injury, lost all my short-term memory, neck injury, C5, C6, I had L1, L5, and I also had a terrible laceration from my ankle to my knee. I had that laceration right on the bone. I also had lost 50% of my hair, became dry and brittle. My whole biochemistry totally changed during, after I got hit, and it was really quite miserable. All sorts of things, tinnitus. I had nystagmus, where your eyes rattle when you try to focus on something. They rattle really quick, fast, and it's hard to see. I had my vision was vacillating, changing so much. I had a hard time seeing. I had foggy brain. I had thing after thing after thing after thing. You see, this is a pretty extensive laundry list. Well, listen, over here, 14 months later, all these things got cleared up. Knock on wood, thank goodness. Things just continue to keep getting better. I have plenty of YouTube channels and podcasts who have interviewed me, and I've shared my story. If any of you are interested, check out the interview at the Wellness Superheroes on YouTube. They did, I think, a fantastic job, as well as the Life Force Network also. Check them out, and you'll get the whole story. Bottom line is, I am free from the plague of pain that I experienced from that, and even the terrible scar that I had on my leg, it's just about 95% gone, where I just have a little bit of hint. I don't know how long it'll take for it to be 100%, but one of the first things I noticed was that the bone filled in on my shin. It was no longer wavy. The scar was no longer elevated and purple, but it was flat, and it became brown. And then over time, it just faded and shrunk. And it's not even a continuous line anymore. Now I only have little, very light, faint tan, where some of the skin has already restored, so it's not a continuous line anymore. So how long will it take to be 100%? Don't know. Doesn't matter. It'll happen when it happens. Until then, I'm sure there are other things that are of greater priority that are being repaired. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's go through the bullet points. I used to share a patch summary that told us what each patch did, but people would come back to me still going, I still don't know what this patch does versus the other. Help me try to figure out, what do I need? And then in the first 2 months of my being on the patches, that's where I developed these bullet points. And I also realized that the fantastic 5 take care of the primary systems of the body. When you take the mother, the daughter, and the YH system, put them together, that's a pretty great foundation to take care of quickly, whatever it is that you've got going wrong. If you have anything neurological, then of course we would add this is SP6, stands for spleen 6. It's a specific acupuncture point. Anything having to do with regulating your autonomic nervous system, neurological, digestive, reproductive organs, and hormonal, this patch is going to take care of that for you. So I'm on that patch still to this day, because since I had a traumatic brain injury, I had a lot of neurological things that needed to be cleared up. So this resets a third of your genes to a younger, healthier state. Again, the FDA doesn't want us to say that this general wellness product uses photobiomodulation to activate GHKCU copper peptide and restore your genes to a younger, healthier state. So we can no longer say that. We can say that it regenerates cells, replacing damaged cells, restores collagen, rebuilds scar tissue by replacing the scar tissue with your original tissue. Big game changer. Reduces fine lines and wrinkles, increases energy, your sexual libido, antioxidants, anti-aging, anti-inflammation. If you're experiencing pain, it will reduce your pain 50 to 100% within 3 to 4 minutes. Kind of a big deal. improved hair growth. I got improved hair growth. We can't normally share about the improving of hair growth because none of our clinical studies measured hair growth. But myself, I experienced hair growth. In the first 4 months, I went from having a bald spot the size of my palm to having about 70% hair growth on the back side of my head. That spot was bald before, not even one hair follicle. Anything I tried to use during that 5-year period, nothing had worked. But this helped my original hair. I don't have that bald spot anymore, thank goodness. My hair went from being dry and brittle to now it's soft and silky, thank goodness. I don't have to put a bunch. I was always shopping for masks and conditioners and things like that. I don't have to do that anymore. My hair is as soft and as silky as it was prior to my accident, maybe even better because it's pretty soft and silky, which really, I still touch my hair and it's still surprising to me, even though it's been about 1.5 years that I've been on these patches. So definitely improved hair growth, hair quality for sure. We've had bald people no longer be bald. We've had people who had white hair have it go back to their original hair color, and everything in between. So that is a result. We also have improved deeper sounder sleep, which we know from the clinical studies, but every person that I've patched comes back saying, I just sleep so much deeper, sounder, just better quality sleep. It's just, even people who, I had one gentleman, I have several of them actually, who men and women who were getting up 5-6 times a night, but it would take them an hour, hour and a half to get back to sleep. They're like, wow, in the first month I get up, or first 2 weeks even, I still get up, but now instead of it taking an hour or hour and a half or two to get back to sleep, now as soon as my head hits the pillow, I'm out. Now it's like total game changer because I go to the bathroom, come back, and I'm out like a light in minutes. That's a very big distinction. So for those of you who have sleep issues, oftentimes just with the Fantastic 5, that's enough. Some of you who have more severe bouts of insomnia, you might need silent nights, which will help with, it's designed specifically to help you with sleep. You might need it just situationally, where you might not need it all the time. You just might need it at the beginning to get started, and then here and there, depending on what else is going on with you. Here we're showing that we're putting the patches on governing vessel 14 from the neck down, from the neck bump, going down the spinal column, 39, 49, glutathione, carnosine, and eon. These patches, we can overlap them. Again, you don't have the white circles. They're not going to be overlapping each other. They're just right next to each other. And then you can apply them. And we have a Veritas Concilium, which is a true plan of action. It's just a recommendation or a regimen to using traditional Chinese acupuncture points to magnify those effects of the patches on the body. You can always get back to the person who referred you to this video for a recommendation, suggestion as to where to put the patches for your particular condition. We have many acupuncturists. We have a lot of people that are very well versed in patch placement. Everyone that I put on the patches, we always do a patch placement phone call or Zoom to address where to put the patches on for their particular condition. Governing vessel 14 is where your brainstem goes into your spinal column and it signals your autonomic nervous system. That governing vessel, that means that it's a primary overall, governing acupuncture point. It's a fantastic acupuncture point, especially for anything related to the brain, anything neurological, anything down your spine, of course. But we also have conception vessel 6, which is all 90 clinical studies used either governing vessel 14 or conception vessel 6, which is 3 finger widths below your belly button. Conception vessel 6 takes care of conception issues. So anything having to do with your reproductive organs, your genitals, your hormones, anything digestive in nature are all taken care of by that conception vessel 6. You can put the patches anywhere on the body, top of your head, even though you got hair, all the way to the bottom of your feet. They work anywhere on the body because they work on your body's infrared light. Depending on what your condition is, though, we can magnify the effects to, if you have pain in an eye, we can put a patch above your eye and it'll reduce the pain. In my case, like right now, I'm using down my arm because this is almost done. My little bump is almost flat. Who knows how much longer it'll take, but right now I'm trying to repair this that I got from a couple of weeks ago that I was traveling in Arizona and Nevada and California, and I had too much luggage. I had 2 pieces of luggage and some other things that I was carrying, and the weight just created this little problem here. But this is I don't have any pain. As soon as I started patching that arm with it, pain, because it was really sharp into my palm. Oh, I couldn't pick anything up. And as you can see, it's totally fine now. Now I just have to finish repairing that so that it goes back flat. Pretty cool that I have that technology available, right? The next patch is your daughter activation patch. That's the 49. That means people ask sometimes, why 49 and 39? Well, 39 is because there were 39 iterations of this patch before it became available to us 4 years ago. For the daughter, there were 49 iterations of this patch before it finally was available to you and to me. And so this patch does something entirely different. It actually protects you from radiation poisoning relief. So if you're having any type of chemical therapy by whatever means, guess what? This is going to protect you from those chemicals. If you're having radiation for x-rays, dental x-rays, or x-rays for any other reason, or you're under any kind of device that has radiation in it, or you're getting it from being in the plane all the time, because maybe you work as a pilot or as a flight attendant, or you have an environment where there is either man-made radiation or there is natural radiation. Make no mistakes. You're going to have protection because there's a Faraday cage inherent to your body that is created and expanded by signaling a third of your previously dormant pluripotent cells. This particular patch will increase lean muscle mass, increase bone density, muscle mass and strength, increase energy, focus, cardiovascular function. It's going to protect you against electromagnetic frequencies from 5G, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi radiation, TSA scanners, planes, trains, automobiles, where you have blue light toxicity from LED lights, halogen lights, fluorescent lights. So electromagnetic frequencies, there's something called an EMF meter that you can measure the amount of electromagnetic frequencies from that particular device. I know that I have protection not only from wearing these patches, but I also actually have in front of me here an actual selenite wand, which is a particular type crystal, so that I don't have EMFs that are harming me because I do spend a good amount of time doing Zooms every day. And so this actually measures that. This patch is going to offset, unring the bell. It's one of the few times in life you get a legitimate do-over. So this patch will reduce belly fat because you're going to use that energy because that's all, the belly fat is coming from glucose storages of energy that aren't used in real time. And so it stores it as belly fat, right? So it's going to use the belly fat first in this case, as soon as you're wearing this patch, as an immediate source of energy. And if you have any osteoporosis, it's going to reduce it because as your bone density increases, obviously your osteoporosis will disappear. And so let's talk about the next 3 patches, which are your pluripotent cell activation patches. That talks about glutathione, dun-dun-dun, glutathione, carnosine, dun-dun-dun, and eon, dun-dun-dun. So that is the Y-age system. Y-age, when you can regenerate and rejuvenate your body. I don't know about you, but I love regenerative medicine and the fact that we can undo the bell of damage and actually not just anti-age, but reverse age. So let's talk about, yes, remember to drink. Oh, by the way, drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water. Glutathione, master antioxidant. These are 3 master antioxidants. So the patches are named after the antioxidant that it activates. Glutathione, carnosine, and eon. This master antioxidant detoxifies your body from any toxin of any nature, any sort. It's also an immune booster. When you put that patch on, within 24 hours of your having worn that patch, your glutathione levels are elevated 300 to 600% based on whatever your original blueprint was. If your original blueprint from then to now, if it needs to increase 333% just to be in alignment with what your original blueprint was, then it'll jump up to 333%. So that more of you is actually turned on and you have greater detoxification, greater immune boosting mechanism inside your body, more antivirals, more protection against germs, viruses, and bacteria, and any toxin by any form, however it got into your body, doesn't matter. This is also a radioprotector against DNA damage, very important. improves your skin appearance, helps promote relaxation, as well as reduce stress. Glutathione is really important in the management and the reduction of pain because glutathione is tied to your nociceptive system. Your nociceptive system is the system that feels pain in the body. Glutathione is really important for eye health. It's very important for neurological capabilities within the body, not just brain function, but your fine motor skills, gross motor skills, because that's all through your nerves, the electrical conductivity of the nerves going from one nerve to the other, where you actually have this nerve touches this nerve, and as they touch, it sends the electrical conductivity. That electrical impulse goes from one nerve to the other, and then that's what defines your gross and fine motor skills, etc., etc. Also, your immune system. Glutathione, your brain signals your liver to manufacture it. Your liver produces it and sends it out through your bloodstream to get into every muscle and every single organ of the body. This glutathione patch worn 12 hours daily over a period of simply 4 weeks produced a highly significant improvement in physiological functional status of the pancreas, liver, gallbladder, intestines, left and right adrenals, hypothalamus. Hypothalamus has to do a lot with your short-term memory, your pituitary gland, and a very significant improvement in your pancreas with a statistical power of at least 72%. So stated differently, all organs achieved significant cellular physiologic functional status improvement compared to a baseline with a statistical power of at least 91%. So that is found, that quote, in a paper named Nanoscale Glutathione Patches Improve Organ Function. If you got anything going on with any of those organs, listen up. Fantastic Five. That's why it's so important to wear these patches together. All right, carnosine. Going on to carnosine. Carnosine, the root word of carnosine is carne. Carne means flesh in Latin. This master antioxidant supports and improves cardiovascular function and your system and all things that are related to heart and muscle. So this improves healthy brain function, memory, focus, and brain processing time. This improves your strength, your stamina, and your endurance, and it detoxes your brain from aluminum. Aids in wound restoration. So if you have any wounds or lesions inside or outside of your body, this is going to help with restoring that tissue, okay? It's important to note that your heart and your brain are completely tied together. If you got a good pump, that means that there's no backages, no clogs, nothing obstructing the flow of blood inside the pipes of the heart, and the electrical conductivity of the heart is electromagnetically imbalanced, then you got a great pump, super efficient. It's beating regularly the way it's supposed to. It has the elasticity to beat faster during stress or during exercise. And it can easily go back down to the regular rate of heartbeat. It won't get stuck idling high, or it won't get stuck idling too slow, which is what happens with certain people who have low blood pressure. If it's idling too slow, you have low blood pressure, slow pulse rate, or the same problem is if it's idling too fast, too high. That's just your heart working really hard to get oxygen to everywhere where it needs to go, to your brain and everywhere else in the body. This heart patch, if you will, helps your heart, your cardiovascular system, and it helps your memory, focus, and brain processing speed. So your brain needs a good heart in order to work properly. This patch is going to go to work on both. And I can't say enough about aluminum because people are unaware really as to the level of aluminum that you're taking in from all the beer that you drink, all the sodas, the Coca-Colas, the Pepsis, the Diet Pepsi, Diet Cokes, all the high C fruit juices, coffee drinks, energy drinks. Heck, there's no shortage of beverages, even wine and water that come in an aluminum can. And you're getting trace amounts of aluminum that go to your brain. It's no wonder we have had such an incredible proliferation of Alzheimer's, dementia, senility over the last 100 years because we use aluminum containers in so many forms, and it doesn't come without a cost. But now you can unring the bell of those effects by wearing this patch, and you get a lot of that protection, and you get a lot of detoxification from those things, okay? Toothpaste up until 2014 was always in an aluminum tube. Tom's toothpaste, organic toothpaste maker, changed in 2014. And then all the other toothpaste makers followed suit. So that's something good to note. Think about all the pies that you ate that were baked in a tin pie container. Think about all the food leftovers that you take home, different events that you've gone to where the food was catered in an aluminum container. Again, you might be in an environment where the gun manufacturer or awning manufacturer, aluminum awning manufacturer or car manufacturer. Again, there's types of different environmentals that expose you to aluminum that you can inhale and absorb it through your skin. Bottom line is that this is going to unring that bell. Okay. Oh, by the way, remember to drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water. We got Eon as the last patch, and then we'll open this up for questions. And also anybody who would like to have their questions answered, you can jump on a Zoom every day at 2, Monday through Saturday, or Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m., or put a comment below, or you can call the hotline, which we'll have in a minute. We'll be flashing that on the screen. Put it also in your comments here on YouTube, and I'll make sure to answer that. Get back to the person who referred you to this video, as always, and that person will be able to direct you and to answer your questions as well. So this Eon patch is another master antioxidant, which is a master anti-inflammatory patch. So it's going to manage inflammation. It's going to also be your anti-stress, your happy patch. It's going to make you feel happier because you're going to feel less stress as you're getting in balance. This raises actinoplastins, increases the DHEA fountain of youth hormone, and this beautiful patch, we should put a graphic that's brighter colored behind here so that this brain shows up. But this is going to cause brain balancing of the left and the right brain hemisphere. So as you wear this patch, your brain gets into balance. It creates a calming effect because now we're reducing cortisol and C-reactive protein because your adrenals. How many people do you know with adrenal fatigue? The majority of people are out there running with adrenal fatigue. Majority. Now we can bring down, your adrenals when they're overproducing cortisol to give you that fight or flight response, extra energy for you to respond. Then it turns into C-reactive protein, feels awful in your body. You have anxiety, you have PTSD. I had it after I got hit by a bus. And guess what? Now this is going to reduce the cortisol levels. It's going to reduce the C-reactive protein. It's going to bring those things down, and it's going to create this brain balancing and this calming effect where you feel everything is bright and clear. You can focus, you can see, you can recall, you can remember without efforting. And you have this calming effect. You're energized, but you're not wigging out because the energy is so much. No, you're energized, you're bright, you're clear, you're focused, but you have a calm feeling. And the fidgetiness, the anxiety, all that kind of disappears. It's kind of like a sugar cube, just adding water to it, just slowly, just kind of disappears into nothingness. Really is quite beautiful a thing. Wouldn't you agree? So what are anti-neoplastins? Most people go, anti-neoplastins, what the heck is that? Anti-neoplastins. Well, these are simply peptides that are found in the blood and the urine of healthy people, and the research shows that they might stimulate your immune system and that these peptides might also kill cancer cells or prevent them from multiplying, proliferating, and growing. So these are used for various cancers, high cholesterol, brain swelling due to any kind of infection like encephalitis, meningitis, AIDS, HIV, Parkinson's, etc., and other conditions. In a clinical setting, it's administered, anti-neoplastins are administered through IVIG, which is intravenous immunoglobulin therapy. And it's usually taken from a pool of 2,000 blood donors. They take the 2,000 blood donors' blood, they centrifuge it, they take out the plasma. In the plasma is where you find the anti-neoplastins. And then you go ahead and then you administer that intravenously. It's always done in a hospital or a clinical setting. And in some cases, it can be done. There are now, just recently in the last few years, people can actually have a portable device that they can bring home so that they can have IVIG administered for people with autoimmune disorders and things like we just mentioned here before, okay? Luckily, with the patches, you're activating your original blueprint from when you were conceived. You get to do a do-over, and you get to get a third of your previously dormant anti-neoplastins are actually going to be turned on. These peptides are going to get moving and grooving. So Oh, by the way, are you aware? I think I mentioned it before on the broadcast that blue light destroys your DHEA fountain of youth hormone, and that blue light also causes inflammation in the body as well as insulin resistance. Blue light, where are you getting blue light from? The computer screen that you're watching this on, from your cell phone, from iPads, laptops, desktops, LED lights, halogen lights, fluorescent lights. Guess what? You can unring that bell through wearing these patches. All right. So I'm going to wrap this up here. Carol, I don't know if you have a comment, concern, or a question. I'm going to check the YouTube channel real quick to see if anyone is on there asking any kind of a question. I don't see any kind of a question here. Yep, I don't know why the chat feature is not on in the YouTube channel, but it's all good. I'll have to take that up with maybe with Zoom. How's my beautiful friend and gem in Yelm, Washington? All right. Love you a ton. I'm going to let you guys go. As far as how much it costs, we're going to just wrap this up 2 more minutes. You know that we can't charge you $1 million, even though our health is worth more than $1 million. Because if you don't have your health, you don't have your wealth, right? It's really a prison that takes a lot of time, energy, and focus. No matter what, you always pay. You either pay the price, you know, for good health by doing the things that will help your body, or you pay the price with pain, and then you have to pay for all sorts of extra things to unring the bell or fix or, you know, bandage those things. So traditional stem cell therapy is, again, you know, you can't do stem cell therapy in the United States. It's illegal. You can get that by IV or by injection, but you have to travel overseas to do that outside of the US. And that runs 8 to 11. I've heard people pay as much as $25,000 for a session of IV stem cell therapy. That's what Dr. Stacy paid for her daughter, Taylor. And we're not charging you anywhere near that. In fact, just for the price of $5 a day, a cup of coffee, you can get started on stem cell activation. If you want to do the Fantastic Five, you can get started for 2 cups of coffee a day. 2 Starbucks, 1 cup of Starbucks runs you about $5 a day, $5.45 to be exact. For the price of 2 of them, almost $11, you can get the Fantastic Five. And for those of you who want to find out how can you offset that cost, maybe by becoming a brand partner, that is an option. We really focused on the medical side of things, but for those of you who are looking, the beginning of the year, you want to do something new, something that's really going to impact and empower people, really be an agent of change. We're looking for some earth angels who want to help save more lives. Make no mistakes. We do save lives. We get people back their eyesight. We get people back their health. We get them out of the chains of pain, out of that prison of not feeling good and now starting to feel fantastic. So if that's something that might interest you, get back to the person that referred you to this video and check it out. Carol and I, she's my friend and gem, and we will both agree that this has changed our lives forever. And we're so happy and excited every time we're able to get someone started who decides that they want to invest in themselves and start activating their own body. So their own body is the one that's doing all the restoration. It's not something outside of you. This is just a mechanical device that redirects the energy to activate 1/3 of your previously dormant pluripotent cells. So your body is the one that's restoring everything. It really is spectacular. I'm going to share with you briefly. This is the Dr. Wholesale Pack. The gold pack gets you started on the Fantastic Five. That's basically $100 a sleeve. You save $50 a sleeve. Normally it would be $750. If that is too much of a leap for you to do at this time, you could always start with the silver pack. It says 3 sleeves here, but they'll give you a free bonus 4th. So you'll get 4 of the 5 for the $299. For people who still would like to do the Fantastic Five, the first month would be $299. And then the next month, it will just be $30 more because you'll get that 5th sleeve. You'll get the wholesale pricing. So then it will be $329. And for those of you who want to get the Fantastic Five, but you know that you're going to be on it for the next year, you'd rather buy it in bulk to get the lowest price per sleeve. And one of these is called a sleeve, which is that's just another name for an envelope that has a 1-month supply of patches, right? So 3 times 5 is 1,500. So this diamond pack, then you would get 3 months of the Fantastic Five. But because they bonus you When you buy, you pay for 3 and you'll get 5 months. So you get 10 to 11 additional free sleeves when you upgrade, or when you decide to buy 3 months in advance. Speaking of upgrade, once you get started, everyone earns an upgrade where you can upgrade to, if you're a gold, you can upgrade to a diamond. You got your first month of the Fantastic 5. So by upgrading to a diamond, instead of having 5 months, you'll still pay for the 3 months and you'll get the 4th month, 5 sleeves for free. So it's always a fantastic deal. We do have a Christmas special, which I don't have. I should create a graphic for this. Actually, I should probably just show it to you in the Telegram instead of showing you this very technical device, which is called the 3x5 card, where I use magic markers. But we have a special that's going on until the 12th of December. I'm really excited because it's like 40% off is a huge percentage off. So let me show you in the Telegram group, because we do have it posted and it's just much nicer, neatly written there. In the Telegram group, here we go. And so you'll be able to see the Christmas special. Let me scroll down to the Christmas special. Here we go. Oh, here it is. Okay, so now I can share that with you guys. Boop, boop, boop. So I'm going to stop this screen share and I'm going to share the other screen, and that will show right here. Whoop, there it is. Just like the song. Whoop, there it is. Whoop. Okay, you don't want to hear me sing. Anywho, so this is our Christmas special. So you get 1 year of stem cell activation. Normally it's almost $3,000, $2,917.85. You get to save 40%. Kind of crazy. That's a lot of money to save. That's $1,168, almost $1,200, but 40% savings. I wish this was available when I got started. I just paid for a diamond pack. So your cost would then be $1,749.80. So you get for that 1 year of the mother patch, 6 months of the daughter. So after 6 months, then you either do a subscription. And when you do the subscription, little secret, no one talks about this, but I'm going to let you in on the secret. On the subscription, they give you, it's either 10% or $10 off. I'm not sure what it is, but they do give you an additional discount for being subscribed. So then you would just subscribe every month for the months 7 through 12, just for the 49 patch. Or you could buy a maintenance pack where you pay for 6 months and you get the 7th one free. Also a very good deal. You get 1 month of glutathione, carnosine, and eon. So that means that months 2 through 12, you pay $149 because you get reduced price. Instead of almost $100 a sleeve, you only pay $49 each because you're buying the 3 together. That's there too. And then SP6, which is your neurology digestive hormone patches. You get 3 months worth of that. So that's pretty awesome. So that comes out to, normally it would be $2,917 with 85 cents, but you're going to save $1,168.05. So your price ends up being $1,749.80. Smoking, 40% off deal. What can you do with an extra $1,200? Well, I don't know about you, but I could do a lot with $1,200. So for details, get back to the person who referred you, get back to this video. You have our hotline. You can get back to Carol if Carol referred you or if I referred you. But this is good until 12/12 at midnight Central Time. I don't know why it's Central Time. Corporation always does Central Time. So it's 12/12/12. December 12th at midnight. That's when this expires. I'm hoping and praying that they'll have some other kind of special that will take place after this Christmas special. If not, I will encourage Dr. Stacy. I'll have a talk to her and make sure that we have something, because I like to always be able to provide something of value that's outside of the ordinary to you guys. So once you do get enrolled and you get started, I want you to be aware that then you will have access to not only my stem cell group, and this is another stem cell group I have here where we have about almost 6,500 people that are all on the patches, okay? And there you can use this group to look up whatever conditions, and then you'll see all the testimonials, because every day at 6 p.m. we go on live. We have 2 people that come and share their testimonials of transformation of what they were like before they were on the patches, what plagued them. and then the after. And some of them have been on the patches for 2 days or 3 days. Some of them have been for a week, 3 weeks, a month, 3 months, 3 years. It's all across the board. You can use this as a resource library to look up those testimonials and also to ask questions. We have about 900, maybe 1,000 doctors that are on here, as well as everyone else who's on the patches. So this is a great little resource. We also have our before and after. It shows you, look at this gal. She had severe scoliosis. This is less than 2 months on the patches. And she went from that really curved, painful back. She even had a fold in the skin to, this is actually a month later. Her back is almost straight. The fold is gone, but not to mention pain relief. She's no longer having the pain that she had before. We have this before and after. There's no words. It's all pictures of people before and after. Here's this guy before and after. You can basically just look up pictures and it's easily accessible to you. Look at this lady. Look at how much older she looked and how she looks now. This is a dog this dog was on the patches for 2 months, had cataracts before, and 2 months later, cataract free. This is with used patches, not even the new patches. The owner took their patches off and put it under this dog's collar. There's a ton of these. So anyhow, we get to see, look at this lady, the difference between here and here, much, much younger looking. So anyhow, so we can spend quite a bit of time just looking at all these pictures. Look at this lady, how much younger she looks and thinner. We've got some pretty good ones. This one's only 26 days. I love this one. Look at this, 26 days after. Look at the double chin, gone. The 11s, gone. Look at that line under her chin, almost gone. Incredible. She looks like her daughter on the right.
Yeah.
It really, that's only 26 days. Imagine what might be possible for you. We won't know until you get on them and then you call us up and tell us, hey, this is what happened for me. This is one of my favorite ones because this person had a severed spinal cord and cord impingement at every disc joint. Horrible, horrible neck pain. She was looking at surgery, neck surgery, spinal surgery. And 18 months later, look, she started November of 2018. So let's do the math together. November 18 to November 2019. That's 1 year. November 2019 to April 2020. That's 1.5 years. She has almost a textbook perfect spinal cord because there's no such thing as perfect, right? Look at how thick the spinal cord wall, the membrane that houses the fluid. Look at how thick it is on both sides. That was not the case here. It was severed. Look right here. You could see the dark. That's where this disc severed that cord. You could see the cord impingement at every juncture. Restored here, 18 months. The alternative is to not have been on the patches, and this would have gotten worse. Not only would the pain be worse, but the paralysis would have increased in this person's case. And this person's transformed. You can't even begin to imagine the radical difference it is. This person can look left and right, up and down. It's not an issue. It was a huge issue before, but it is no longer. So we could spend another hour just going through all of these pictures. Look, this looks like it's her daughter. It's not her daughter, it's her. Dr. Stan, my gosh, him and his wife both, over 60, got on the patches. That following year, the second year they were on the patches, they became bodybuilders. Never had done that before. Both became bodybuilders. Both of them won in their age category. Crazy. I could keep on going on. We could spend, like I said, a long time going through all of these. This gal had stage 4, like she's terminal. That was 4 years ago. This is what she looks like now. She looks awesome. Marcy, she lives about 45 minutes south of me. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Again, I could keep going on and on. We could spend a lot of time. Maybe I'll do one. This person had over 20 tumors. Never had smoked a day in her life. Never smoked a day in her life, but she had all these tumors inside her lungs and around her entire thoracic cavity. In less than 6 months, it was like 4.5 or 5 months, she actually had a PET scan that showed that all the tumors disappeared in her body. It was incredible. Yeah, like I said, this is very exciting for me to share with you guys, but we got to wrap it up. It's the end of the evening. I got to go eat dinner. I love you guys dearly. I love sharing this life-saving technology. I love my beautiful best friend, Carol, who is now in Yelm, Washington, which in 2020, we're in 2023 and 2024. I hope to go visit you and meet a group of you. I was talking to Annie Cattrall and to Jody Hadsel about how Donna and Annie and you and Carolyn, the Carolyns, mentioned about
Yeah. Uh-huh.
having us out there so that you're going to have a room full of people that will learn about this life-saving technology. We'll do an event. Maybe we can do even more than one event with you guys, but we would love to do that in 2024. And again, this is about saving lives. Bottom line, it's saving lives.
And it does save lives. Absolutely.
It does save lives. And it's just, for those of you who are watching here, and if you're like, you don't know what your purpose, your passion is, heck, I would invite you to, you know what, you might want to try this out as a, maybe in 2024, your purpose will be to start with this technology, use it for yourself, and also become a brand partner with us and help us spread the word. And who knows, maybe this will be a transition thing that will transition you to whatever your greater purpose is. But it's not a bad idea to do something where you're saving other people's lives on your way to finding what your purpose is. Might be a nice bridge. You might find that it will course correct you. Maybe you'll decide to become a doctor. Maybe you'll become a functional medicine doctor, a naturopathic medicine doctor, maybe an integrative medicine doctor, or maybe a chiropractor or a cranial sacral specialist or a neurosomatic practitioner that specializes in repatterning the brain from physical and emotional trauma like myself, or maybe an ER doctor. I started off in emergency medicine. And then because of my zigzagging my way, I ended up here where I am, where now I share this life-saving technology and I use it with my patients and for anyone that will listen at this point. It would be criminal not to share this life-saving technology with people. I've had people who not only were blind and who can now see, we've got 2 of them now, just in Carol's group, actually. And I have one person who had HIV positive status since 1998, had multiple organ failure, who is now, it's a year, this December, that he has blood tests every 90 days for the last year that show no presence of HIV any longer. And he went back to work in January. So this January 2024, it'll be his 1-year anniversary of working for an oil company. He now travels all over the world, making 5 times the income that he did before, because he no longer is chained to the pain and the conditions of his medical conditions. He's out there working for an oil company, having a blast, having the time of his life, wining and dining people, at the same time working in the oil industry. And now he's able to save up to buy. He lost his house. He had to sell his house to pay for medical bills. Guess what? Now he gets to save up money. He's doing it pretty quickly, actually, now, to save up money to buy another house again in Texas. That might be you. I don't know what your story is. It doesn't really matter. Everybody has their story, right? I've got my first, I have a lot of firsts. I have a lady who had HPV. That's supposed to be a condition kind of like HIV, that once you have it, there's no way to unring that bell. Guess what? Less than 6 months on the patches, HPV doesn't show up on her blood tests anymore. I mean, we can go on and on. Carol and I have a lot of really cool, just in her group, let alone my larger group, let alone Dr. Stacy's group, she has almost 1,000 people on the patches. It is the most thrilling and fulfilling thing to know that someone you know is relieved and their life is different. It's better. They're literally saving lives. We've had people, so many people, I have never counted, but I have so many people who had stage 4 cancer where it also was metastasized and in the bones. We got PET scans to show. If I could, I would pull out the PET scan. I didn't plan on showing the PET scan right now, but I have people who show PET scans. There's no presence of cancer anywhere in their body. Again, we don't treat, cure, heal, diagnose. I'm not saying it's for cancer, but I'm saying that we can regenerate pretty much all 56 trillion cells. You just got a patch and drink your water. Okay?
Water.
So,
it's fabulous.
It is fabulous. All righty. Okay, take care. Have a great rest of your evening. Hopefully with the next broadcast, I'll get this light bulb changed, because I just noticed right now it's like off. So burn bulb there. All right. Take care, my friends and gems, and We will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific time and 7 p.m. Pacific time for information question and answer sessions and more information on how you can improve your health and well-being.